Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Nostalgia Sux Rocks. I'm your host, Mike Eshelman.
And I'm your other host, Tom Arnholt.
And last time we got together, we discussed Taxi, which is one of Tom's picks on our list. And this month, we're doing one of my picks, which was Gremlins. So I think briefly last month we talked about this. When this came out, it was that 84. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
I was obsessed with this movie. Like the trailers, anytime it was on TV, I was hooked. I watched all the stupid little specials, the teasers, everything. I was obsessed with this movie. I went running out when it came out to watch it, and I was hooked. Just absolutely hooked.
Huh.
So
that's really funny. Like, how many times did you see this in the theaters?
in the theater, just once.
Okay. And then, like, once you moved out and could afford HBO, how many times did you watch this? Like, when it was on? Like, how many times have you seen this?
Oh, when it first came on to HBO, probably what, like 85, 86? I watched it every time it was on.
Really?
Like all the time. Loved this movie.
So back in the day, you not only saw this in the theater, you saw this, like, repeatedly, like, whenever it was on television.
Oh, absolutely. It was constantly on HBO. And I want to say the like ABC, CBS, NBC picked it up every once in a while, would show it like around Christmas time too.
Right.
Yeah. So do you remember when this came out yourself?
I do. I did. I saw it in the theater when it came out. So I saw it once. And I think just statistically, I probably saw it when it was on TV sometime else. But I have no solid recollection of me seeing this beyond when I saw it in the theater.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. It was. I don't know. It didn't resonate. You know, it didn't strike me like it did you. I didn't have this, like, oh shit, I gotta see this.
Right.
You know, I didn't have those. Like, oh, that looks neat. That looks interesting. That looks new. It's Spielberg, and he kind of wrote the screenplay of our lives back in the 80s.
Exactly.
He and John Hughes. So, yeah, but I wasn't geeked out and jazzed up to go see this.
Okay, I get it.
And then I saw it. It was good. Phoebe Cates, 2 thumbs up, and that was it.
I think this and Poltergeist, I obsessed over that summer. Like, I absolutely could not wait for those to hit the theater.
Now, Poltergeist was another story. That's one I saw a few times in the theater.
Really?
And I don't know why. Because it did. It totally scared the bejesus out of me on a genetic level. I mean,
oh shit! Yes, absolutely.
Because it was 84, and all we did was sit in front of the television, and now it's going to kill us.
Yeah, exactly.
Invite all the evils of the supernatural. Yeah.
Yeah. So the two safest places in our house was our bedroom and in front of the TV, and Poltergeist took both of those from us.
Right.
So okay. So if ghosts aren't going to kill you, then the fucking Russians are. You know, is it any wonder that all of us are just angst-ridden and raging alcoholics at this point in our life? I think not.
Yeah. I think we're like, I should have died 20 years ago.
Yeah.
What the hell? Why won't this end?
Yep. But back to Gremlins. Again, I love this movie when it came out. I was all about Gizmo. And then, again, I think we talked about this last month. I saw it at some point in my 30s. And just, it did not hold the appeal. I think maybe I was in a dark place at the time. It just, I don't know. I pushed back against it. So it was interesting, like sitting down now in my 50s to watch it again. And honestly, there was no emotional attachment whatsoever.
Yeah.
None of that nostalgia came flooding back. None of those old feelings.
It was clean slate.
But yeah, it was. It was weird. And once I got past the like the terrible racism in the first few scenes of the movie, Honestly, when the credits rolled, I thought that was a good PG horror movie.
PG-13.
Oh, was it PG-13? Okay,
Yeah,
so it was a good non R-rated horror movie. You
yeah,
know, as I watched it from a technical standpoint, like that was a fun, scary little movie, and
right.
that was it. That's all I had.
Like, had not, I have no recollection of seeing this outside the theater in 1984, but it was a movie that stuck with me. It's like I remember all of it. There are because it was, again, the whole reason we do this is to kind of poke at the iconic things that happened in our youth, and it's one of those iconic movies. Like, to this day, even prior to watching the movie again, I knew Gizmo. I knew the green evil Giblins, Gremlins, Stripe, the whole thing. I
Right,
was like, all of it was still locked in my memory,
right.
uh, because the movie did have that impact when I first saw it. The one time, it stuck with me.
Wow.
Um, but you know, having an opportunity like this to kind of sit there and watch it again with older eyes, I'm right there with you, man. I watched this thing and I tried it as best I could to remove expectation.
Right.
It was like, all right, I'm just going to watch this as it is. Much like we took on Taxi, like we're going to view this as a body of work from a point in time.
Right.
Same thing with Gremlins. And I got to, in the back of my head, I was like, oh, this is going to go down rough. And no, the credits rolled, and I'm like, damn, that was much better than I think I remembered it being.
Yeah, really?
It was one of
Okay.
those. Okay, like even like the clunky stop animation of the masses of gremlins walking up the street behind Stripe.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Oh
but like
yeah.
honestly, that was the only hokey special effect that didn't work that I
Oh
could
yeah,
recall.
because everything was puppets back then
Yeah,
when they filmed this, and they
everything was
did
practical.
yeah, and they did a fantastic job too.
Yeah,
One particular scene that stuck out was the bar scene where Phoebe Cates' character is serving drinks to the cadre.
I
Now,
have
and
it's one of my
again,
notes.
as a movie reviewer, that scene
Mhm.
was way longer than it needed to be. But
Yeah,
as a fan watching it, it was fascinating watching what they could pull off.
right.
If you think about the size of that set and how many puppeteers had to be working around it,
Oh yeah,
that was amazing.
yeah. This took Sesame Street to Sesame City.
Mm.
Um, you know, and I think it did. As a viewer, it lasted a lot longer. And the note that I wrote down is, why the hell is she serving them at the bar? Like, wouldn't you think like one comes in and you run out?
Oh, one would think. Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
Um, it's not. Oh, let me light your cigarette for you.
Right?
Um, one of your 3 cigarettes. But that was one of the. I mean, it took nothing away really from the entire experience because it was just one of those things like, why the hell didn't she run? But
Yes,
okay,
yes. Okay, fine.
horror comedy, 1984.
Right.
It's we just That's one of those things that we just overlook because the producers and the director wanted us to be able to see everything they could do with the puppets, and I
Yep.
think perhaps from an artistic standpoint, they wanted to kind of highlight the evolutionary potential of the Green Gremlins.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. That's a valid point.
they're not
Absolutely.
just out to just destroy things. I mean, they are, but in addition to evolving into what they are, they can evolve into. They have personalities as well
Yes.
that are very distinct. And I don't know. Spielberg is one of those visionary types. Um, I could totally see him thinking, "Oh my God, we established enough. We put these things in enough costumes, and we could make these movies forever.
Yep,
There's
absolutely.
or spin-offs, cartoons. We can do anything if we can characterize enough of these little things. Every one of them now has a backstory.
Right, right.
So maybe I don't know.
And,
I might be reading too much. I might be giving Spielberg more credit than he deserves. Uh,
I I wanted to shit on the movie so bad. And
really,
again, yeah, just that's me. I like breaking things.
fuck my
And
youth.
yeah, that's exactly it. Fuck young Mike and when he was happy. That kid sucked.
Right? What did he know with his dreams and his
Yeah.
aspirations?
And again, the any scene with an Asian character in this movie was
Oh God.
problematic, so bad. But what I was trying to wrap my head around in that bar scene, which again I loved. It was so
Yeah.
fun. It's like how do these gremlins that just hatched like 40 minutes ago know about flashers and
Right.
shady characters in fedoras smoking cigarettes in bars and ski mask muggers with 22 caliber guns and things like
Right.
that. It was fun, but at the same time I took a step back. I'm like, this is kind of stupid, but
Well,
I'm loving it.
yeah. Oh yeah. I had that thought towards the end when they again being born just hours earlier. All know Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Hi ho, hi ho. It's off to work we go.
Yeah, I have the same thought. I'm like, so, and again, that movie scene went on way too long, so I got lost in my own thoughts. I'm like, all right, maybe it's like those other animals that, like, as one generation learns something, it's sort of imprinted on the DNA.
Right. Yeah. The
You know,
genetic memory. Yeah.
so obviously the Gremlins and Mogwai have been around for centuries. Maybe while they were in Asia, they watched Snow White over and over again, like their grandparents did, and it's just
Yeah.
imprinted into their DNA.
I'll give you that.
That's the best I could come up with. I walked away from it again as a movie. I loved it as a message. I thought it was good too. I mean, it's
Yeah.
almost more pertinent now. But if you think about it, the only people that the Gremlins went out of their way to murder were the greedy old lady in town
Yeah.
and the racist plow driver.
Yeah.
Like the most problematic American white people in that town, nature comes and gets them. Everybody else, was sort of accidental. They just in the way.
I wouldn't say accident, incidental.
Incidental. Yeah, that's a much better word for it. Yes.
Because
But they went out of their way to take out the worst of
yeah,
like American
yeah,
society.
the worst of
And
the worst
again,
were targeted.
yeah.
Great.
Right? So
God.
if the Gremlins were any other natural disaster, it's like, the hurricane, the tornado, the wave or whatever went right for the bad people and everybody else
Right.
just happened to be in the way. But
Instead
I
of
thought that was an interesting commentary.
instead of the flood hitting the marginalized and impoverished,
Right?
yeah, this one targeted the affluent and morally degenerate.
Yes, it took a hard right on Main Street.
Yeah.
But like you said, the effects held up. I mean, there was a decent car crash with the cop car flipping over in the street.
Yeah.
That still looked good. I thought it was funny that Jonathan Banks had that bit role as the drunken deputy on Christmas Eve.
Yes.
It's so weird, looking back at him in 1984 when, again, for the past 11 years, he's been part of the Breaking Bad universe between Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. So now he plays like this brilliant badass who's like 12 steps ahead of everybody. But in 1984, he was a drunk deputy,
Yeah.
just
With,
hanging out and eating donuts.
with a candy cane hanging out of his mouth, making fun of the
Right?
kid. Talking about the Green Man, eh?
Yeah. So that was fun. And who was the other? Oh yeah, Corey Feldman. I mean,
Oh
any
yeah,
movie he's in, like I see him and I just get sad. You know, he was such a great little character actor. He was so good, but fuck,
yeah,
knowing
yeah.
looking back now at all that history, like Jesus Christ, you poor
Right.
fucking kid. You know,
I
I
mean,
just want to yell cut and go hug him.
oh, right. Um, just I mean, a phenomenal talent at such an absurdly young age.
Yep.
Um, I mean, he commanded every scene he was in. It was
Mm-hmm.
hard. I mean, even like he's walking around the bedroom and he's got a glass of milk or water or whatever the hell it is, and you're like, oh God, don't get him wet. But so
Right.
you're watching him because like, oh, this kid's gonna spill water on fucking
Yep.
Gizmo, and that's because I couldn't remember how it happened. I'm like, oh shit, Corey Feldman's the catalyst.
Right.
No, I'm like, he's patient zero, but no, but you're waiting for it, and like
Yep.
so, but beyond that, even like in the scene, like when he's like trying to talk to his teacher before he leaves the classroom, he's like, "Hey, wait a minute, can I ask you something?" And he gets ushered, pushed out, and he's in
Right.
the tree costume delivering trees. Uh, he's hard not to watch,
Oh yeah.
and I don't know what it is about actors and who they are inside that because that makes them just eye catching.
Yep.
Because it's not like I'm not eyeballing little boys. It's like this kid is. I have to watch what he's going to do next.
Oh, absolutely. He
What
was
he's
just
doing yeah,
one of those people that just demands your attention no matter what he's doing.
yeah,
You know, like him, Christian Slater, I think is the same way. No
yeah,
matter what he's in, he could be just sitting in the back of a scene, like, oh, shit's
yeah,
gonna get weird here soon.
yeah.
I gotta
I,
watch this guy.
I forget what Star Trek movie he was in. He was in for like a second, and I want to
Hmm.
say it was like Star Trek 2 or 3, and it was just a tiny bit part. It was like, "Hey, dinner's ready," and that was it. And it was like, I remember that scene. I don't know why. It was such a throwaway
Right,
bullshit. It was like, hey, you owe me money. Put me in this movie. Kind of a fucking, all right, fine. We'll give you
right.
30. We'll give you 15 seconds. I don't know why.
Oh,
Um,
and
just,
I also, and again, looking at it from a historical standpoint, I loved the scene with Judge Reinhold, and
yeah.
Phoebe Cates in the bar. How he's
Right?
just such a sleazy dickhead, and
Yeah.
she just shuts his ass down. I'm like, that is fucking great. I
Yeah.
loved that.
Especially with Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
this is so good.
Yeah.
So good.
And I love that line. Like, oh, you haven't seen my new apartment. I haven't seen
I
your old
saved your
apartment.
old apartment either. That was great. And her relationship with Billy, is that,
Yeah.
yeah, Billy. I think that was part of the appeal, as like a 14-year-old nerdy little boy back then who read comic books, and had a room upstairs in the little Cape Cod house, to have like the pretty girl in the neighborhood like interested in him, and like going on these adventures. That was part of the hook too
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, this guy's got it going on. I want to
Right.
be Billy.
And that was the beautiful thing about like those characters in movies like this is like they had it going on and they didn't even know it.
Right.
You know, but this dude Billy fucking has his balls drop and he actually asks her out,
Right.
and she's like yes, like not even a hesitation. Like,
Oh yeah, it was
hey,
fantastic.
Thursday,
Yep.
yes,
Yep.
fucking yes, Billy for the win.
His balls dropped. Fuck. I'll tell you what, there may only be a handful of people that listen to the show, but it's phrases like that keep me coming back. When we're ready to go to press with our greatest hits album,
Oh God,
it's shit like that I will listen to all the hundreds of hours of us rambling
our
just for
greatest hits,
stuff like that.
our greatest hits is going to be a single.
I love those stupid things.
fuck yeah.
And it'll have a paper sleeve, too, not even the expensive plastic one.
Oh, no, we can't be wasting money on you poor bastards.
Right? Oh, God.
So a few notes that I had real quick.
Okay.
First of all, did you notice when Hoyt Axton, when the dad calls from the convention, he's in that little phone kiosk thing.
Right.
Behind him, when that scene starts and it first cuts to him, there's that classic time machine, the sit down with the disc in the back.
Yep.
And so there's a guy sitting in that classic old time machine. And like as the scene progresses and it keeps clipping back to him, like more and more smoke starts to appear like from without the time machine. And the last time they cut to him, it's gone. The time machine is gone. And
I didn't even catch that.
There's two people. Like, what the hell happened?
That's amazing. No, I didn't even catch that. In his telephone scenes, I was turning on the closed captioning because I wanted to hear what Robbie the Robot was rambling about on the other line behind him.
That was another great thing. Like, yes, I can handle 60 liters. I'm like, what the hell's he buying? This is great. And it's cool that they actually got the original Robbie the Robot voice guy to do it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I'm sure he wasn't buried in work in the 80s by any means, but still, it was kind of cool to... That throwback was great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So you mentioned the police car flip effect. It struck me. I'm like, okay, so there's the local law enforcement gonna watch fucking Santa Claus get mauled by these green creatures, and their instinct is to roll up the window and drive off.
Yep.
Like, shit, fuck you, Joe. And then as they're driving, like, there's just increasing carnage out their window, and they don't think maybe we should stop and investigate or maybe help somebody.
No.
For it.
Right?
And then they pay the price.
Yes. When they first saw Santa attacked, I think they did the math like, all right, there's 8 gremlins and 6 bullets. So we're fucked.
Like 12 between the two of them. Like the other guy wasn't Barney Fife. He didn't carry it in his pocket.
Right. They're still locked up at the station.
Right. Oh, crap. But I mean, honestly, I can see, well, we didn't think to bring bullets.
Right. Oh, yeah. And again, I just loved the pure chaos of the gremlin monsters themselves.
Yeah.
You know, yes, they murdered a couple people, but they kind of had it coming. Mm-hmm. But just the bar scene, the movie theater, the fucking mailbox, just I'm gonna hang out in a mailbox, and anything you put in here, I'm gonna throw at you.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm going to spend my entire Christmas Eve. That's dedication to your craft.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. So, one other note regarding just a story issue. So, you've grown up in, you've had a chimney.
Oh,
a fireplace, right?
Here we go. Okay.
Yes. So Phoebe Cates is telling Billy what's his dick about why she hates Christmas, and it's this whole story, obviously, about how her dad wanted to climb down the chimney and surprise them with a handful of presents on Christmas Eve. So, dude, handful of presents down the chimney in a 1920s era Cape Cod.
Right.
Somehow slips and breaks his neck in the chimney.
Right. Yes.
I glossed over it, but I had to write it down.
Yes, and those are the same chimneys that a dead raccoon can fill. You know, if one gets... Raccoons can get wedged in there, so yeah. Mm-hmm. I was picturing Phoebe Cates' dad as like a very, very slender man who was easing himself through this 1 foot by 1 foot tiny ass little chimney and slipped. And that's why they had to say he broke his neck. He was so skinny. He could slide down there just fine.
Yeah.
It was the ice that killed him, not the suffocation from, having your lungs collapse.
No, because that would be silly.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And
so he slipped on ice inside the chimney.
Dude, just you have to like.
I don't mean to sound like a White House press reporter. I'm just saying.
Nope, you have to let go. And
I did. I did.
It's Spielberg. It's Chris Columbus. Let it go.
Right.
You are not going to like swing a cat and hit two facts all the way around.
Right.
It's
the
just
whole
not
thing
going to
can't
happen.
be plausible. You can't. Plausibility is not a resource that we will afford. Right. I get it.
Something with the consumption of mass media that I thought about while I was watching this. I kind of remember back in the 80s that Gizmo was like the epitome of cuteness at the time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But looking back, he's not that cute anymore. And I don't think that it's because he's different. I think it's because the technology, and I'm blaming you, Pixar, has pushed the cuteness factor so much further that Gizmo is no longer the epitome. He's sort of a middling type cute character. Like so much time and effort goes into the mathematics of what is cute.
Oh, yeah.
So, and again, 14-year-old me, I would have killed somebody to save a, Gizmo because he was adorable. Now, I'd kick him into a boiling vat of oil just to make sure that, like, Boo from Monsters, Inc. has an extra pillow to sleep on because she's so fucking adorable. Like, Gizmo, fuck him. Bink, out you go.
Just get him. We'll make another one.
That did kind of bother me, too. Thank you for saying that. So the very first time Gizmo gets wet, he's on the little art table, right? And he is screaming bloody murder.
Like, writhing in pain.
Yes. Like if you heard that sound outside your house, you're like, God damn, I need to go kill this poor animal because it's suffering, right?
Yeah.
So, Billy boxes him up and takes him to his fucking science teacher. And what's, the second thing they do after poking him with a stick is like, let's get this fucker wet and see what happens. Right? Like, holy shit. Does nobody remember that terrible noise that little guy made?
Remember the torture? I mean, the brain's an amazing muscle, and the psyche is all sorts of defense mechanisms. But
right,
yeah, you can't unhear certain things.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it was terrible, and again, even now looking back, I'm like, God damn. And Howie Mandel's got range. No, I don't think that it was actually him doing the screaming. I think he just did the cutesy voices and stuff. Yeah. But that was an awful sound. Just terrible. And his little legs were kicking and stuff.
Right,
like, oh my God.
That was disturbing. I mean, it was like, you can totally tell, like, oh my God. This little thing that we've been conditioned for the last half hour to just find adorable is now being essentially tortured.
Yes.
And, quick, get the eyedropper. Let's do it again.
Yes. One note that I had, not related to torture, was how much ass did Billy's mom kick? When she was home alone and there were like 5 of them that hatched, she fucking went on a murder spree.
Dude,
that was great.
That was an awesome fucking scene.
Yep.
The whole sequence where she just like lays waste.
Yep.
To the 3 or 4.
I think she killed 4 out of the 5. Like the 5th one jumped out the window. Yeah.
I mean, to have the wherewithal to like, oh, okay, he's in that device. I'll hit start. Oh, let's. I loved it because initially she grabs a knife.
Yep.
To go upstairs to check what the noises are. And then when she gets into the kitchen and she realizes some shit's going down, she grabs the second knife. So she's double wielding.
Oh, it was so good. I just that whole scene, and again, it was shot so well too. She just like going in this circle around the house, like I
Oh
must
yeah,
murder everything that moves,
yeah.
except for the dog. You know,
Oh
just
yeah.
kill, kill, kill,
Not,
kill, kill, kill.
yeah. Yeah. That I thought was really well done. I read somewhere that I think the original script, like she was supposed to die.
Really, Jesus
Like they were
Christ!
like gruesome, like decapitation, and they'd throw her head down the stairs, sort of shit.
Wow,
Yeah.
fuck.
And I forget who was like, uh, it's still kind of a Christmas movie.
Right.
This isn't a this isn't a Sam Raimi picture.
Right. And again, I think that's one big difference between 14-year-old me watching it and 52-year-old me watching it. Um it was such a good horror movie this time around.
Yeah.
I didn't have that emotional attachment, so I could just watch it encapsulated in and of itself. And
Mhm.
it was great. You had the nice build up, you had you know, the monster's going to take over. Essentially, if they got out of that city, we're
Oh,
fucked, you
done.
know? Yeah. So it was just so well done. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was so much fun. I could easily see, like you said, an R-rated version of that where there's just more involved kills.
Yeah,
It
but I
would have
think
been
it would
easy
be
to cut that, but again, you know, you got to look at it was a Christmas movie. You're trying to get the preteens in there, so you didn't need that. But damn, you know, if there's ever a director's cut of this, I would buy that in a heartbeat.
actually it's a Christmas movie that came out in June because
I
they
see.
weren't. I guess the not the label the studio wasn't totally sure that it would do all that well because again it was you know horror comedy of sorts
Right, right.
uh, before that was a thing
Yep.
and they weren't sure how well it was going to do and apparently was a shortage of the summer blockbuster type stuff so like they're going out there at Spielberg
Right.
gets buns and seats.
Yeah, I want to say I saw this at Graceland, if I remember correctly. Like I zipped up there on my bike to watch it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so it was
nice.
fun. But again, we're 2 for 2
Yeah.
of looking back and you know, again, Taxi. I can watch that when I'm 150 and still think it's an amazing piece of
I'm
work.
so surprised by Taxi. Still to this day.
This one, it shocked me. I did not think I would enjoy it as much as I did, but I had a lot of fun watching this now.
Yeah, this was totally fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was just a few things. I mean, like, yeah, the over the top, goddamn foreign parts, foreign cars. Yeah, it was like, ugh.
Yeah.
But then he dies, and then it's okay.
Oh yeah. I felt fine, and
It's
even
just
like his wife got murdered. I'm like, you know, she was there by choice, so
right, choices have consequences.
guilt by proxy.
What do they like to say? If you're not with us, you're against us.
Something like that, yes. And I mean, there's a 50-50 shot she was a racist asshole too. So, you know, whatever. But yeah,
One of the real quick that I got me kind of thinking. I've been horror comedy. Well, this came out in '84.
mm-hmm.
Evil Dead came out. Oh shit, '81, and then Evil Dead 2 came out in '87. And
Mm-hmm.
Evil Dead 2 is sort of credited for firmly establishing the horror comedy genre. I can't help but think that Sam Raimi saw Gremlins and said, got it.
Right?
Here's what we're going to do to Ash.
Yep. Honestly, thinking back to Evil Dead 2, I think like Bugs Bunny and Wile E. Coyote had a lot more impact on Sam Raimi than Gremlins did.
That's yeah, I'll give you that.
Because that was so goofy, over the top,
Yeah,
and violent too. But yeah,
yeah,
I mean the formula is right here, and again,
mhm,
it was an untapped market. Really, there were not a lot of horror comedies out before this, but
yeah,
again, as a teenager, I didn't see it that way. It was a fun action movie. But sitting in my living room now after watching tens of thousands of hours worth of movies, I'm like, oh
right.
yeah, this is so. The formula is right there. I've seen
Yeah,
this movie a dozen times with a dozen different monsters at this point. But yeah, this
mhm,
is the granddaddy of them all.
yeah. Good
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
good.
So something I thought I'd hate and ended up liking. So
I did too. I thoroughly, for as much as I tried to quell my lack of my expectations and keep that sort of under control, they weren't high for this. But
right,
yeah,
yeah, it was
pleasantly
fun.
surprised. Yeah,
Yep.
totally.
And I do want to break the pattern and not pick what we're going to watch next month until next month.
Okay,
Unless you want to draw right now.
I
What do
don't
you
care.
think?
You're
Okay.
calling. I'm good either way.
Well, I don't. What is this? This is oh shit. Okay, so it's June. Should we do another one of these and just keep going for the summer?
Why not?
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me pull it up. Uh, I did not have that pulled up already.
That's
Shared
okay.
with me. La la la.
Because I know that
Tom and I have.
when we first concocted this, we did put together a not an extensive list, but a substantial list
Mm-hmm,
of TV shows and movies and albums that impacted us, during our formative years in the '80s, and uh, it'll be interesting to. I'm curious actually to see what our homework is for
mm-hmm.
next month.
Let's see. All right, so one of them I need to take out the formula on Taxi and Gremlins because we don't want to watch those again. And then we will
But not because we
refresh.
don't like them.
No, not at all. Okay, so there's a 0.78. God, I don't want to watch that.
Hmm.
Um oh, here we go. 0.82. Hang on. Every time I sort this, the numbers change. Piece of shit. Um oh, Cheers.
God, I knew it was going to be Cheers.
11 years that show was on.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Wow. Okay, so we've got our work cut out for us for the next episode.
Okay. Um,
Wow.
so about Cheers, when did Kirstie Alley? When did that era start?
Oh my god, you're asking the wrong guy. Literally, I haven't watched it since it was on.
Yeah, I've seen a couple episodes
Yeah, like I'll
since.
see it here and there. Like, oh,
Yeah,
Woody's on.
yeah,
Or when I love the coach ones. Whenever I see those on TV, I'll sit and watch them. But I have no idea
right.
when. Well, I guess I could ask IMDb, right? Let's see.
Hang on, I'm trying that right now.
All cast and crew. Because okay, she was on from 87, so she came in 5 years into the show.
Okay. Do we want to do pre Kirstie Alley, or
Hmm.
do we do the whole thing?
You can kind of break it into the Shelley Long era versus the Kirstie Alley era.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
the So I don't know. I think we should cover all of it, and I want to dip my toes into at least a couple of the early episodes because I
Yeah,
do not remember this being strong right out of the gate. I thought it stumbled a little bit, if I remember. And again, I was a wee lad when it came out, but I don't remember it being hilarious until the cast really gelled, you
I want to
know?
say it was like the second or third season is when it started to become like a thing,
Right.
and
So
then
I don't know. Well, we've got a month. Maybe I'll do 2 or 3 episodes from every year and see how it goes.
yeah, let's do
Yeah,
that.
but
Okay, yeah, let's do the
it's
whole thing.
yeah, it's funny. Like just looking over the cast on IMDb, it's all oh yeah, I forgot that like Paul. I always forget about him because he's such a middling character. Like holy shit, that guy had some great lines in that show. But yeah, this will be fun. And again, I miss Coach and Woody. They were so good in that show.
Oh yeah, Woody was the best, or not Woody, Coach.
Yeah.
But I mean, Woody was good too. I love. Yeah, there's so many yeah,
Okay,
iconic
this will be fun.
little things. Yeah,
Yep. It's a
Norm and
shitload of homework, but I'm looking forward to it.
right. At least it's not algebra.
Ah, that's true. And again, for anybody listening, if you have some ideas of things that you want us to sort of pick up from the 80s and watch again, just feel free to reach out and tell us, and we'll more than happily laugh at your stupid idea and do whatever we want.
Yeah, absolutely. Or we'll sit through it and we'll look at it and go, Jesus, what the hell were you thinking?
Right? And we will call you out by name. So
Yeah.
so I guess until next month, I will bid you adieu, and we'll talk to you soon.
Take care, everybody.